I turn to Professor Nguyen Thi Hoang, Vietnam's National Institute of Education Management. Distinguished Professor, you have the floor.
Thank you. Dear Excellency, distinguished guests, scientists, and all participants. It is a great honor, and I feel very privileged to be here to share with you our study on the Vietnamese women in science and technology. I'm going to share with you about some data, achievement, shortcoming, and some recommendation. But to making long to be short, I cannot give you the data, so I'm come up with some achievement. With regard to the science and technology, the number of female accounts for a high proportion and the figure increasing gradually from 2011 to 2015 from 41.6% to 44.79%. In education sector, the proportion of the female worker is 53.2%. On university level, the proportion of the female professor qualified as Bachelor of the Arts is much more than the figure in the last 20th century. In science, many female researchers are director and academic research, both in terms of the aspect of the outstanding contribution to science and in terms of the application of their work in real-life situations. Many of them gain awards by prestigious associations in Vietnam and in the world. For instance, National Prize for Science and Technology, prize given by the Sofia Kovalevskaya Fund or L'Oreal UNESCO Fund. From 1985 to 2015, there were 44 outstanding individuals and 17 female researcher group in terms of nature, science, and mathematics who received the Kovalevskaya Award. After being given these awards, they continue to achieve more and more. However, there are some shortcomings, such as the higher the qualification, the fewer the number of the female researchers. One of the most crucial reasons for this gender imbalance is the difference in the regulation of the retirement age between the women and men, with the woman age retirement being 5 years younger than the men. Study also shows that the longevity of the woman is higher than men. The rate of the disease after 50 years old in women is lower than in men. Moreover, women take career break to have children. The regulation for them to retire earlier than men is a waste of the female intellectual workforce. Some factors that affect the equality and parity in science for women. The policy, implementation of the training policy. There are no incentives for the female intellectual to take part in the training course, despite the fact that there are more difficulties for them to pursue education than their male counterparts, because of their responsibility in the family, their physical strength, and so on. In terms of the employment, in the report about the Vietnam employment trend in the year 2009, unemployed educated women rate are higher than men. Intellectuals in rural areas are most likely to be unemployed than in urban regions. Females with college degree are more likely to be jobless than women with higher education. The second is the gender issues. The society mindset of the looking down on the role of the woman lead to the consequence that women are not trusted, assigned, and promoted. Moreover, the role of the woman in family duty is considered to be natural. So their effort in the family life are not recognized and respected. Then psychology that people do not prefer working under the management of the female is also counted as a challenge for the woman. The factor from the within each individual. Some female intellectuals, even people with a high level in education, are lacking of confidence, afraid of giving opinion, avoid sensitive policy issues, and unable to provide fully informed judgment on social issues. As a result, they prefer to stay in their comfort zone rather than try to be better themselves. The responsibility in family. Women are more or less restricted by the traditional custom, spending a lot of time and effort in housework, caring for the elderly and children, and lacking time dedicated to professional work. The opportunity to explore the experience the world with double role in the family and in the career, it is difficult for women to study abroad or do research overseas. In summary, women must try hard in comparison with their male counterpart in terms of the physical strength, mental strength, and society prejudice to pursue their professional life to contribute to their intellectual capacity in society. Some solution and recommendation. For the long-term recommendation, the government should issue policy and guidelines that legalize gender equality in own occupation. Promote communication and education about the gender equality in order for society, male as well as the female intellectuals themselves, to be aware of the importance for female intellectual role. Develop a specific mechanism to provide advantage for female intellectuals, such as setting up specialized sessions with the following responsibility: to boost gender equality awareness, to develop action plan for training, to find potential female candidates, to nurture talented women to become future leaders. Building a network of the women intellectual on the national, regional, sector, basic, and so on, so that they can easily access important information and they have the environment to exchange ideas, professional knowledge, and experience to perform effectively in both daily life and professional career. Provide financial assistance for the psychological assistance, if necessary, for female intellectuals so that they can feel secure to pursue their professional life. Provide intensive or support for women intellectuals from ethnic minorities, religion, in remote areas where the proportion of intellectual women remains too low. So in my country, the education accessibility between the boy and the girl in the minority is very imbalanced. So I recommend to give them equal opportunity to access education as beginning from the kindergarten. So later on they can have a more chance. Short-term solution. There should be a change in the age when the female intellectual retire. Currently, it is regulated that women 55 years old will leave the workforce. So this inequality will cause a waste of intellectual capacity of those people. Prepare human resource and create opportunity for female intellectuals to take part in the National Assembly and the National Pupil Committee. Improve and change the supporting program for female intellectuals to sharpen their professional knowledge. At the moment, there is only support for the women to participate in the political science courses. There should be policy for the women to go abroad to study. In summary, investment in intellectual, in sustainable investment. The female intellectual is a part of the intellectual workforce. The quality of the female intellectual capacity is a key factor for the success in the industrialization, modernization, and international integration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor, for both your analysis and the practical solutions that you're recommending. You're absolutely right. There's so many headwinds in this struggle for greater equality. I'm in the learning and training business, and I know that the biggest obstacle to any change in attitude and behavior is how easily people forget what they learn. There's a 6-hour forgetting curve. So when people come to our training or learning sessions, within 6 hours they've forgotten what they'd come to train or learn. culture, habits, attitudes, these are the most difficult to change. And of course, you've given some practical suggestions, including on things like retirement age and so on. But the basic battle has to be fought in minds of everyone. And I hope that's going to be a struggle. But these headwinds have to be pushed back. So thank you very much, Professor.